Does that mean
So
you want me to ask
tell
the
me a little
question?
bit about yourself and
Okay.
what you're looking for in terms of coaching. What do you know about coaching, and what are some of your expectations?
Okay, great. So let's start with expectations.
Sure.
My expectations are that I will be clearer about my destination when through working with a coach, and that yes, and that I will have begun some steps, and I'll be on the way. I will be working with something and with an idea of not necessarily what I'm going to do next, but that there are next steps. Like this isn't a kind of one and done thing. You got coached, you're set, you're ready. So I'm looking to understand that and to develop that.
So tell me a little bit more about you and your background, and why at this particular time would you be looking for coaching, or what's going on with you that you're ready to make this commitment to move in the direction of acquiring a coach?
So I've worked for many numbers of years, and doing work that I can do well and have done well, but in a setting that does not necessarily complete me, where I don't feel, and I am at a place where I'm looking to do it differently. I'm not looking to have a different, better job, different, better, good job, but to work myself out using the skills and the talents and the interests that I've gathered, and to be able to still be useful in different ways.
So tell me like the fields that you've worked in. So what industries?
I've worked in legal, both in, not as a non-lawyer, in legal, both in private law firms, large law firms, small law firms, and in corporations, and for the last 10 more years in nonprofit, both public, well, they're all public charities, both organizations doing charitable work and organization as a grant maker, so giving away money. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
So it's been primarily legal. It's actually exclusively legal.
Okay.
But my personal career has been doing artwork, particularly work in using fiber, exploring and playing in artwork for the last 40 years or so.
Oh wow!
So that's an interest and I don't know, avocation, whatever the word is. So I do not think of it as either or. When I don't. I think either or. Some very few people are able to just be artists of any persuasion and struggle doing something else while they prep them. Some people just give up art totally and say it's not worth anything. And I'm in neither one of those camps. I want to see where, if any place, does it meld together, and how do I take myself seriously enough to bring that forward. And it's a challenge because there are a number of challenges, not the least of which is I've always done what I've always done, and how do you do something different when you've always done what you've always done? Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the challenges. You say, how do you do, one of the challenges doing something different, I heard you say, right?
Yeah.
And also the fact that it's so familiar to you.
Yes.
Right. Just it's like second nature. It's so familiar to you. So sounds like a challenge is kind of making that connection between how do you turn this into a business, or not a business, but how do you turn this into a service?
There was a challenge in how I turn it to a service, and how how not to try to make this a job.
Right. So you've had a hard time convincing yourself that it could be more.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I'd say that
So it
is true.
sounds like you have to get out of your own way.
Oh, that is a major thing. I think I
Okay.
did talk about that yesterday. Yeah,
Okay.
it
Okay.
is a very esteem being on the line. My issues about what will other people say, and where you're vulnerable, and what if people don't believe in you, and what if people don't support you, and what if people do believe in you? Oh my God, then.
So now you've got the other flip side, because I think all of that is normal and is natural in the beginning, regardless of whatever you do. You always have those fears, and it's the anticipation, it's the fear of the unknown, and also I heard you say, fear of success. What if it is successful, and then what do you do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so it's all of that. So it's kind of those, being able to identify those voices in your head, like where you're going, what you're trying to do and accomplish, and those voices in your head, and what's moving you forward and what's holding you back.
Yeah, absolutely. I have those voices have helped me, held me back from articulating and committing, even to myself. How do I prove? And proof can be slippery, but how do I, one, establish what I think are valid criteria, shop those criteria with the customer, with the client, and then design or develop measures to ascertain whether or not we've accomplished that.
Without problem solving, that might be something that you find out in the discovery stage when you're talking to people, or when you're
Yes.
when you're doing a survey with people, right? What is it that they're looking for, so you can make sure that what you're offering meets their needs? What do you think you need to do to reach your goals or to overcome the challenges?
So I talked about editing yesterday, and I'm thinking in that area to pull together a brief statement, an outline of what it is I think I would like to offer, what it is I would like to offer. And also, and this may be on the side that I'm not sharing, but to match it with why I think it's valuable, why it could be valuable.
So who are your clients, or who's your target market?
So, well, we'll talk. My target market is hard. I think right now my target market is people who are working with leadership issues.
Okay.
Personally, or within an organization. And it could well be there. I have some familiarity now with nonprofits. I haven't worked for a small nonprofit, but I have people I know in nonprofits and with nonprofits, and that might be a place that's a subset.
So what would a great coaching session feel like for you?
Let's see, an opportunity to discuss what my issue is at whatever that session is, because it will be different, I suppose, from session to session, and to brainstorm or discuss possible ways of addressing that issue. And I think less the coach saying, well, you should do this and this and this, and more the coach asking what I think I should do, because I think you made the comment that we know inside. and then certainly offering to give feedback and advice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
I particularly like that time, the time to distill, the time to make change and see change and adjust. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really important because, you know, at the end of the day, my objective is to help people make change, is to help them realize that change from a business perspective. So, so I guess it's the decision part. So, you know, the last piece of the discovery conversation is, are you ready to, what is it that you feel you might need to take that next step to take on a coaching relationship?
So a lot of this is a lot of information in a short amount of time. You know, a few things that you mentioned are new to me. They really are new to me. You know? Not just being a potential client. And I think that my natural response would be to sit with it, particularly when you talk about being committed.
Yeah.
That if I take that seriously and take it about more than the money that, you know, that kind of energy exchange is money, and consider the full energy exchange of time, that time and work. I want to sit with it and see if I could check back in with you with my questions and request. Is that like appropriate, or is it?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I said I usually have a couple of meetings with folks. Because the first meeting, you know, especially if coaching is new to you, you know, you're hearing things for the first time, your ears are perking up and you're exercising different hearing muscles that you haven't before, because some of the concepts are new, right? So for me, I, you know, want to have a follow-up conversation to address any issues you may have. And, you know, with the hope that we can continue to work towards, you know, making this a reality. So yeah, I definitely think that having a follow-up conversation would be good, you know, maybe a 15-minute conversation to just kind of hear what additional concerns are, and then see where you're at with that.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, great. Thank you. I feel motivated.